everybody, a warm welcome to another interview on Wisdom from North. I'm Jannike, and today I'm here with medical doctor and soul realignment coach and guide Cecilie Foss. Cecilie is passionate about uniting the knowledge of body, mind and soul when treating her patients, and also teaching them how to manifest, because according to Cecilie, we manifest all the time, but not necessarily what we want to manifest. So today we will dive into manifestation and also soul realignment and go from there. Hello Cecilie, how are you doing today? Warm welcome.
Hi, thank you, Jannike. I'm very well, thank you, and very nice introduction.
You're welcome. Well, Cecilie, we had a reading together. You gave me a soul realignment reading, and you also gave me sort of a session on going back to former lives, the Akashic records before this interview. And I gotta say that was very, very fascinating and interesting. And we're going to dive into why that might help us. And I've kind of always been a bit skeptical towards that, because I'm wondering if it is my fantasy, but I think it has to do with trust a lot, and I've learned to trust more the later years. And what came forward was pretty shocking in a way, and I kind of saw the patterns that I might have had. So we're going to dive into how this can be beneficial for others to do as well. But first, can you talk a little bit about what soul realignment is for those who have never heard about that expression before?
Yeah, soul realignment is a tool for me, or a technique. And it's a healing modality that is created by Andrea Hess. And I want to credit her because it's really a great modality, I think. It's a way for spiritual seekers, but also, other people to get actionable information about themselves. So when we do, a lot of the energetic readings, we do alternative energy readings, spiritual readings, we get a lot of information, but we don't necessarily know what to do with the information that we get. So it's kind of, you get information overload, and it's like, okay, then what to do about all of this that somebody shared with me that they saw, or that you see for yourself. But with soul realignment, you get really actionable information. I can tell you, you need to be doing this and this and this to, align yourself with who you are. So it's more practical, it's more down to earth, and it's more, how can you actually do this, and what can you do? So it's in that manner, I just think it's a great tool. The basic, what I did for you was a part of the basic reading, where I looked at who you are on soul level, and that could be difficult to understand for some people, but if we just sort of imagine that we are emanations of the universe, or emanations of God, or emanations of the presence, we have all of that presence in us, but we also have our individualities. Like we are a little bit different. So I've been sort of looking at the frequencies, or the colors, or the energies that is more prominent in you, and that will be different from person to person. So if you know what energy is the most prominent in you, like who you are, what your talents are, it's just so much easier to align with that. So
and
then
the question is
then you know what kind of actions you need to take to be aligned to who you are on your deepest level. So that is what makes it so fascinating for me, because it's as a doctor, I don't use this to treat medical conditions, but sometimes people are not well because they don't know who they are. So it helps them to see who they are, and most of the time they actually know it somewhere inside. They can say that, yeah, I've heard that voice saying I need to be doing this, but then I don't do it. And I can just confirm, yeah, but that's who you are, so go ahead and do it. And it makes it a lot easier to just express yourself on the highest level.
So how would you say that you receive this information? You're saying that you're reading. So can you tell us a little bit about how you're reading?
It's intuitive information, and the access point in this healing modality is the Akashic records. And Akashic records can be, what is the Akashic records? And I don't think anybody really, I don't think we have the correct answer necessarily, but in this modality, we see it as an information storage, sort of a dimension where all of your soul's choices and actions have been recorded and are recorded. And there is no time. So you can look at present, past, future things as one. It's just what pattern, what energetic pattern is there behind your current actions, or behind your past or your future actions. So I just look at the pattern of the actions, accessing from that fifth dimension, Akashic records. And if you really ask me on a more scientific level, what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing, but it seems to be working very well. So it's...
Yeah, because
it's also,
what happened to me in the reading or the session...
I just have to... That's different, because then I was using a different method. So that's not part of the SoulRealignment method, but it's a different method to access more of your subconscious levels, or maybe past lives, if we believe that is the case, that we live multiple times. But that is also going to the Akashic records to look for the information, but it's done in a different way. So you actually do and access that yourself. While in SoulRealignment, I access it for you.
I see. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes, because first you had a reading and we had a session.
Yeah, so two things.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the Akashic records and going back to past lives, because what I experienced was that I also went to a future life, which was kind of interesting, and it became very vivid, and I understood why I've had certain blockages in certain areas. And can you speak a little bit about that when you meet patients or people who have these blockages, and why that can be such a release to go back to past lives, or even though it's not like past, I believe everything happens right now. I believe everything is in the moment. But for those who are new to this, can you tell us a little bit about what you actually did with me?
Yeah, I can. Most of the time I do this with my clients. I try to separate a little bit between being the doctor and being the intuitive coach, because sometimes it could be, I'm careful with what I say to who, in terms of this is not a medical approach. Like, it's not a treatment in any kind of treatment in any way. But what we find is that a lot of people have structures or belief systems or patterns in their behavior that keeps coming on again and again and again. They keep repeating the same old patterns. It could be patterns in love, it could be patterns in money patterns, it could be different things, but there's just a sort of a belief, an idea, a truth in them about themselves, that they're not lovable, or that they could never be free, or that they can never decide who they want to be with themselves. Somebody else is deciding. It can be different things, but it's a subconscious belief or a truth that is sort of governing you, and it repeats itself. So there's a pattern there. And of course, there are many ways to access those kind of patterns. Psychologists work with this too. But doing the Akashic record clearing or doing a past life clearing, the idea is that these patterns are here because they originated in a past life. So because that energy is still in your system, that energy is still in your vibration, you keep attracting circumstances that are the same according to law of attraction, because you have a pattern that is already there. So you keep just pulling towards you the same problems over and over and over again, which is really, really frustrating for people. So you can then go and you take kind of deep, like I did with you, in a sort of a meditation. And we go deep inside and we look at those patterns. And you can believe that you look at past life events or episodes, or future life events or episodes, or you can believe that what you do is you look at the pattern and your subconsciousness fills out the void. So you actually access the pattern that is there, but then you make it vivid in your imagination. Or what you actually do is that you're looking at something that actually happened in a different time and life. And whatever you choose, because the result is the same. If you look at that pattern and you identify it and you become aware of it and you become conscious of it, then you can do something about it. Because most of the time these patterns, they're just playing with us and we don't even know that they're there. So they are controlling our actions and our lives, and we don't even know that they're there. And we don't know that, oh, this is something I believe is true, and I don't even know about it. So as long as it's true, or you believe it's true, and as long as it's there, it acts like a law. So you need to look at it and you need to, what is going on here? And then, do I really believe that this is true? Do I really want this to be true? Is this something that I want to be a part of? And then you mentally, consciously choose something else, and we also release the energy. So what happens a lot of times is that feeling or that problem just vanishes. It's not there anymore because the energy is gone, because the idea of that truth is gone, so it no longer governs your life or your actions or your beliefs or your thoughts or your feelings. So you change.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is the awareness and how powerful that is when you become aware of it. Let's move over to manifestation a bit. You're saying often that, I mean, this is connected, that we're manifesting all the time, but very often the things we don't want to manifest, in a sense, or we don't know what we're manifesting. And you also say that we manifest in 3 ways. Can you go through those 3 ways from your perspective that we manifest?
Yeah, I mean, we all manifest perfectly all the time. If you just look at, if you understand it like my circumstances and my reality is a reflection of my vibration. So whatever I hold in my vibration, I attract. Same as with, when we clear those past lives or we clear those subconscious beliefs, we clear the pattern that is attracting the same circumstances. When that pattern is gone, circumstances change. It's the same. You're manifesting those circumstances. You just don't know that it's there. You're not aware of that vibrational pattern. So, it's the same. You attract whatever you hold into your vibration. And so we do manifest perfectly, but we don't necessarily manifest what we want, If my pattern is constraint and I want freedom, what I attract is constraint. So I need to change my vibration to be freedom in order to attract freedom from the outside. So I need to change. I need to change my beliefs. I need to change my ideas, my thoughts and my feelings, and I need to change my actions to match freedom. So you live the energies you want to have in your life. This is according to those big teachers, Joe Dispenza, Michael B. Beckwith, all of them teach the same thing, but it's the challenge is to actually change, because change is quite difficult. And this is where I think the SoulRealignment is really helping me and a lot of my clients a lot, is that you can actually go in on that level, which I call the manifestor level. And you go from victim level to manifestor level. You go from believing that thing is happening to you to understand that you are creating your circumstance. Manifestation, law of attraction, you are attracting your circumstance. So you can go and you can look at the manifesting blueprint through SoulRealignment. We can see, how do you most efficiently manifest? What kind of actions should you take to manifest more efficiently? So then you can really go in and you can start doing those actions that will change your vibration. So you do actions resonating with freedom, if you want freedom, for example. But I can pinpoint if you need to be loving the process or if it's okay for you to just focus on the outcome of it. So you can look at who you are on that level too, so that you're manifesting even easier. This is, the first level where we go and we do actions. A lot of people talk also about the affirmations on this level, visualizations. You see the circumstances you want to have in your life. So you vision it, you see it, you believe it, you think that it's already coming to you, and you go and you do the actions that align to it. But then we have, one level up, which is more of a channel level. And this is also, I think Michael B. Beckwith, who is a American spiritual teacher, he talks about this very, very brilliantly. But he says that, I think he also talked about this on the Oprah Winfrey Show once, but that when you come up a level, you stop doing so many actions. You stop doing it in a masculine way. And you just more open up, and you go into more of a surrender, and you go into more of a listening mode, and you allow what is coming through you to just be born through. And it's a more passive, it's not passive, but it's a more feminine way of doing things. So you're more allowing your soul to come forward, and you do what you're compelled to do. And I think it's a great way of doing it, but you need to be in a quite high level of trust. You need to let go, you need to surrender, and you need to not block yourself, not say, no, I don't want that. So it's a level where you need to understand that you have a soul, and that soul is you, and that is the soul expression is what is going to come through you, and you just walk with that. It's a more yielding way.
And obviously you cannot then, from my perspective, or how it sounds like, you cannot manifest from that level if you haven't expanded your consciousness, if you haven't, released a lot of blockages. And yes.
And that comes up in the manifestor level, the level beneath, where you actively go and manifest, and you do affirmation. Whatever is blocking your affirmations, if you say, I am powerful, you write down in every way you don't believe that you're powerful. So affirmations are there for one reason, to get your blockages up, to get your blockages active, to activate everything in the way of you actually believing what you're affirming. I am love. And then it's like, no, I'm not valuable. I'm not worth it. Nobody loves me. Then everything that is blocking you is coming up. And then this has to be addressed. This has to be released. This has to be forgiven. So this is where you clear your vibrational field, and you actively go in and start to create what you want. And then when you actually master that, you can step it up a notch. It's not linear, though. You're going back and forth.
But that's interesting that you're saying that affirmations is actually a way to get to know your subconsciousness. Yeah. Instead, because we often focus on what we are going to create, not what we're going to discover about ourselves.
Yeah.
But do you think, nevertheless, that we can manifest with affirmations?
No, not just with the affirmation itself. Because we are, first of all, affirmation is a mental unit of energy. It's a thought. It's a statement. So it's mental. What you need to do on top of that is actually feel it. If you say that I am love, you need to feel on a very much deeper level than just the mental one that you are love. And sometimes when you say these affirmations, you get like a slight hunch of, I don't know if I believe that with my entire being, That's your clue, because that's where you're blocked. So if that feels wrong, again, you can say, I'm willing to be love. I want to become love. My idea is that I am love. I'm hoping I will be love. I'm willing to be love. I am opening up to be love. Then you will sort of bypass your block if you don't really believe yourself. But also, if you get that block to bubble up, then you did some work, because then you know where you're pitching against yourself, where you're saying, no, I'm not worth it. I'm not love. I can't be free.
Do you think it's really possible to clear out all these things? It seems like is kind of like a common belief that I'm not enough. Like in society, in our energy, collective energy, was it Jung that was talking about the unconscious collective? That it's like such a big energy. It's just not you and me and our history with our souls. It's like this huge thing. So to kind of expand into a level that Michael Beckwith is talking about, is that really possible in one lifetime?
I don't think I can answer that question, because probably if that is possible in this lifetime, that's something you would have been working on for several lifetimes, if you believe in several lives. But if we just, yeah, I think it is possible. I mean, the collective consciousness is not affecting you if it doesn't resonate with you vibrationally. So everybody out there can say and believe very strongly that they are not worth it, or that they are not enough. But if you don't believe that, you will not be affected by their belief system. So it's whenever there's a match, like whenever you feel like something hit you with whatever is on the news, or whatever you read, or whatever you sort of encounter in your reality, if it hits you in a way, then it's a match. That means you have a vibrational piece or a pattern that is the same pattern. So in that way, you can use your circumstances and everything around you to highlight your own spots, or your own issues, or your own beliefs. Because whenever something hits you like, I felt that somewhere, it's because you are vibrationally aligned to it. It's a match. And then look at that and let it go. You work through that and let that go. And you look at it. What is the belief that is under here? Oh, I don't think I'm enough also. Okay, in what way am I not enough? When did I start feeling that I was not enough? And you sort of dive into it with curiosity, and you try to figure it out. And when it becomes conscious, when you become aware of that, then you can release it. Because if you don't want it in your system, you just say, I release that, I let that go, because I don't believe that anymore. And the next time the same thing happens, you won't feel that, because it would just slide off you, because it doesn't have a match in your vibrational field. You don't recognize yourself in it. So it is, of course, it is possible, but it's work. I mean, it's not done overnight. It takes time. Yeah.
So do you have any experiences yourself with the release of a belief system that has been really stuck?
Oh yes, a lot of them. Yeah. I've been working with releasing things from my system for years, and especially this last year, very, very intensively, because of the journey I am on. So I had. We can talk about, money blockages as well. Money is an issue that, you can say a lot about money and spirituality, but I recently looked at lives where I really I had a feeling that I didn't deserve to have, the money to get by in a decent way, like, because you have to earn that. And also, you have to earn money. You actually use that word when you're saying you're making money. You earn money. You are deserving of money. It's even in the language. It's right there. You have to deserve it. You have to work really hard. You have to earn it. So I was like, if I hadn't been a good enough person, I didn't have, I didn't earn money. I didn't deserve money to come in if I hadn't been good enough. So what was good enough? It was actually if I hadn't been if I even had an emotion that wasn't really helping somebody else. It was just, my issue, my problem, and I communicated that. That would make me feel like I don't deserve money because I haven't been good enough. Because I've been, a mess. I've been emotional or whatever. And I did look at, with some help, some of those past lives or subconscious patterns. You choose whatever you want to believe. But in one of those scenarios, I was a person who took a lot. I burglared, I robbed, I stole, I took what was not rightfully mine. And so the idea is that, okay, you have a pattern that I was trying to make amends for what I've been doing. I've been grabbing, taking too much, really being a great thief in a way. So my subconscious is trying to make me never do that again. by saying you didn't earn it, or at least in this lifetime you're not having anything because in that past life you took too much, what was not rightfully yours. So sometimes it's just to get your attention to, there is something here that you need to let go of, that needs to be released. And I also got a life or a situation where I worked and worked and worked and worked, but I just made pennies. It was like 14, 15, 16 hours of like hard labor, and I had pennies from it. So going in the complete other direction to sort of, make up for what I did the first time. So, and the thing was, the common demeanor here was also the shame, the judgment that I was feeling towards myself because I had been taking and stealing and robbing. Like,
could you feel that in your life right now, that you have like this bad conscience when it comes to money?
No, that's exactly. I wasn't even totally aware of the judgment part of it. Of course, when you say that I don't deserve to make those kind of money because I wasn't good enough, there's definitely judgment there. But to actually pinpoint that the energy's judgment can be sometimes quite hard. But when I walked through these lives and I released them, I figured that, okay, I've been judging him for what he's been doing, and I've been judging society for just giving me pennies when I worked, my butt off, to be honest. And I also always felt like I would be working really hard in this life. That is hard work. You need to work really, really hard to get what you want. So when I released that, I also sensed that judgment was gone.
Judgment for money, or
no judgment, just the self-judgment, just sort of just went, and I was like, oh, where is that feeling that I never do enough? Gone. And then you can say what happened is my cousin called and I had a free lunch, and I won a sort of small lottery, not a huge amount of money, but still. And then you said, oh, we can do another interview. So things just came into my life for free once I sort of let go of those money blockages. But I think the main part was that the feeling of judging yourself was, at least on this level where I'm at now, not there anymore. And then you can circulate and you go down the spiral and it comes up again on a deeper level, maybe. But it's the energy of that is gone.
It's really interesting, and it gets really complex as well, because like when I did my session with you, I think we touched upon 3 lives, but however, I might have thousands of lives, with thousands of issues and programming. So how this ties together, I don't know, but I believe, perhaps, I'm just thinking out loud, that sometimes we go down to this planet and incarnation to take on certain soul themes. And this is something one of my masterclass teachers in my membership is talking about, Katie Bray. She made me aware of this, that we might have soul themes. And so I think that we focus on certain themes and certain things to master. And along with that comes, in a way, an energetic blueprint from certain lives that we're supposed to look at and release, etc. So I think it's like a constant learning, and every time it's something new that we're approaching. However, I do think when we're doing this work and becoming more and more aware, it goes faster, it goes quicker, and we ascend in a sense faster.
And it's what you just described. You can also explain that by the law of attraction, like the manifestation law, because if you have one pattern in one lifetime, you will keep attracting according to that pattern throughout lifetime after lifetime after lifetime until you release what is there. So there are certainly common themes, because if you have one pattern, you will keep doing that thing. Maybe you did that 500 times, right, and it's still showing up. So if you let go of that pattern, you actually let go of that pattern throughout all of that time, because that pattern is on a higher level.
Which is kind of karma, isn't it?
Yeah, but that is what karma is. It's choice and consequence. So it's a choice that you make. For example, you stay in a very abusive relationship, and that harms you in a way that leaves a vibrational what can I say, structure to you that makes you, it does let you keep attracting that similar situations throughout lifetime after lifetimes. It's karma. But it's not something you did wrong. It's just a direct consequence of your action. You did an action, it has a blueprint in you, and it keeps attracting the same. So if you just let go of that blueprint or let go of that pattern, the consequence change. You know, so it's karma, but it's just a choice and a consequence, which is also what Andrea Hess teaches in Soul Realignment. What karma is, it's choice and consequence, and that is manifestation too. What you choose has a consequence, and that is what pops up in your life. And if you want another thing to pop up, you do a different action. And that is on physical level, like what you do, not decide that you're going to do something, but actually what you do with your physical body. Yeah.
I don't know if I've never kind of liked that thought of karma. And
No.
for me, it is a bit too limited in a sense. I think there's something in it. However, I think it's much more complex, and I think also we are influenced by so many other things. The universe, energies, the moon, other people's consciousness. Also, I think we have multiple or dimensional lives. I think we exist on many levels at the same time. Yeah. So I think that the big picture is much more complex. And also when it comes to manifestation in the physical world, I think also law of attraction, yes, I believe law of attraction exists, but I think there are more levels to it. So for instance, if we want to attract a beautiful soulmate relationship, and we're good manifestors in a sense, we got it all right. Let's just imagine that. We're aligned with everything. Or perhaps we're not so aligned with everything, but we do the techniques right.
Yeah, you do the techniques right, even though you're not aligned, because I will already be here.
Right. Yeah. And then perhaps you are attracting the opposite of a beautiful relationship, and that is not that you've done it wrong or done anything wrong, but perhaps you're supposed to look at that. Perhaps you're supposed to have some experiences of that to grow even more, to align even more with that beautiful relationship that you actually want to attract. So not that anything is higher or lower, but if you want a beautiful relationship, you kind of have to match that beautiful relationship.
Exactly. You have to match it. And if it's not there, you're not the match to it. And that means you're not a match on a mental level, you're not a match on an emotional level, you're not a match on a spiritual level, you're not a match on a physical vibrational level. Your actions don't match it, you don't match it. So sometimes when we manifest something or say that we want something, set an intention, we get the opposite. I could just describe. Yeah. it's really like, oh my God. But
why did I set this intention?
No, the thing is, you're just highlighting what is in your way. Because you set the intention of, I want to attract unconditional love in my life. What you see around you will then be all the conditions. Because that's where you are. Because if you have a conditional love in your life, but you want unconditional love in your life, what you are vibrating at right now is the opposite of what you want. Because that's where you are. So you just need to, that just highlights whatever you need to work on. So you don't have to really work on it, all that stuff. You can, if you want to, just go and do on an action level, unconditional love. But everything in the way will pop out as resistance. Huge, massive resistance. And most of the people that I work with, they are not able to just go and do the actions that match what they want, because the level of resistance is really high and they feel so uncomfortable that they stop themselves. So that's where I go in and I say, okay, what is coming up? And then we start to release the energetic patterns, the belief systems, the truth, all that is in their way, or a lot of what is in their way, to make it easier and a little bit less uncomfortable to do the actions that align to what they want. So but everything in your way will blow up in your face. Or also strange things in your surroundings will start happening. Like family, like drama, things to get your attention so that you're not going there.
And that's the thing. I mean, this doesn't sound like a bed of roses, you know?
No, it's not a bed of roses. But it's also a demonstration of your power. Because if you set a really powerful intention, like I wanted to go, I'm manifesting freedom at the moment. I'm manifesting something that is resonating with freedom. So I need to be doing actions that resonate with freedom. And when I start doing that, what happens is I get sick. So being bed-bound, in what way does that resonate with freedom? It's the exact opposite. Your body's not working, you have a fever, you have a temperature, you're stuck in your bed. To me, it resonates with constraint. That's the vibration, which is what I'm currently at. So, and I'm trying to get to freedom, you know? So when I set that intention and I start doing that, that is what's popping up. And also a lot of other feelings that I'm not allowed to do that. I couldn't, you know, because of my child, I can't do this, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. All of this resonates with constraint, that I can't have that level of freedom because of this and this and this and this and this. And behind there are a lot of beliefs, a lot of truths about freedom that might not be serving me very well at this point, you know? So you need to look at that. But you also, if you actually believe that those things are popping up because you start to manifest, it means you're on the right track. It means you're going in the right direction. It means that your circumstances are shifting and things are popping up. But most people stop there because it gets uncomfortable and they think, oh, this is a sign from the universe that, you know, I'm doing something wrong because now I made a mess. Yeah, you didn't make a mess, but you're just making a mess because you're changing your vibration, and everything not in alignment to that is going to scream in one way or another. And then you think, oh, I have to go address this. You don't. You can just keep going. Like, the faster you go, the faster your mess will dissolve, you know?
You mean, by keep going, you mean focusing still on the intention?
Yeah, focusing still on it and doing those actions that are in alignment to what you want. Like for me, I need to do actions that resonate with what I want to create. And when I start doing that, everything around me starts screaming. Things start to happen that actually stopping me in my tracks. And then I have to stop and I have to deal with that. But the wiser thing to do would just be say, oh, I'm creating this mess. That means I'm on the right track and I'm going to keep going even faster, because we need to change. If we drag out that vibrational change, it will be so much chaos in our lives. It will be chaos for a while because you're in between two states. But the faster you get to where you want to go, the quicker things calm down, right? But we just stop ourselves. Oh, this is too uncomfortable. What's going on here, you know?
Yes, and the feeling of failure, it's not working.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just because you're stopping yourself, because it is uncomfortable.
This is so interesting. And I think it's very important information, because I think often that we just get half of it and just a glimpse of it, and we don't kind of understand the full picture, even though I don't think we can. But no. It is very good to know about these things, that we can expect that chaos will come into my life, that you're kind of more prepared. Resistance, I think, is such an interesting emotion. Why do I resist this? Why do I resist that? Why do I feel uncomfortable here? For me, one of my intentions this year is to move through that uncomfortability and be really curious about why I get so uncomfortable in certain situations. So,
very lovely.
Yeah.
It's, you know, everything that is moving you outside of your comfort zone is uncomfortable. You know, that's why they say it's a comfort zone. If we just stay where we are, it's nice, you know, it's peaceful, it's safe, it's comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with just staying there. But some of us get bored. We want to have a new experience, right? We just want to create something else. We want to do something different. And then to go about and just do that will be uncomfortable, because it takes us out of our, you know, current situation and our current circumstances. And we try to create something completely new, and the possibility of this going, you know, really wrong, and that we're not going to make it, and blah, 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 all those fears come up. So it is uncomfortable. But or you can change it into thinking it's exciting. We want to be comfortable, I think, biologically as well. We need to be safe. You know, to just go walk away from the tribe and do something completely different would be unsafe, to the point that it would actually be almost suicidal, you know, in a different state of our history, because we would be eaten by wild animals, or we wouldn't have the support and the safety of the tribe. So just going out and do your thing, it's not genetically, it's something that I think we fear quite naturally.
Yeah.
But then we are not living on the, you know, the savannah or in the jungle anymore. So a wild lion can come and eat us, but we still have the fear that I'm moving out of my current safe situation, which will trigger me. But then allow it to trigger and just keep going.
And I think that's the process that we're in as a human race right now, going from that fear mindset, going from those limitations and constrictions, and actually following more that subtlety, that also, you know, the divine feminine is coming in, more the softness, opening up to that inner voice, daring to be the hero in your own life, standing by yourself. But yeah, it is scary, and it is really a hero's journey. I love that expression.
Yeah, and being a hero is, you know, it's not, like you say, a walk in the park or a bed of roses. Heroes do tend to get some resistance and some problems on the way that they need to conquer. You know, they need to work through those things to become the hero in their own life.
And it's so interesting because we watch it on films all the time. We watch again and again this story about the hero, the heroine. So
I think it's our soul story, you know, that we are to become the fullest expression of ourselves. And then that is what the hero does. It really steps out of his cocoon, you know, goes from the caterpillar to the butterfly feeling, like really stepping out there. And I think we're so inspired and find that so fascinating, because maybe that's really something we all want to do in one way or another, but we don't know how, and we are afraid of, you know, well, can I just go do that? Can I just be that big? Can I just be that successful?
Yeah. Really interesting, Cecilia. And speaking of Soul's Calling, I want to mention for everybody who's watching, I'm having a free event in February. It's called the Soul's Calling Online Retreat, where we will spend 8 days diving into our Soul's Calling. This is one of my passions, and I will bring many of my masterclass teachers from my membership along, and we'll have a beautiful event. And it's totally free, and you can sign up below this video. Love to see you. Now, Cecilia, tell us a little bit about, in the end, what you're working on right now and how you work.
I have my holistic practice where I work with patients, and I also have a part of that practice where I work with only clients, where I only work with, you know, spiritual, energetic, intuitive tools. Sometimes I also combine them, but I just have coaching clients to work with these kind of things, you know. I have a free manifestation group on Facebook where you can come and see me have, you know, live videos, and where I talk about manifestation and the manifestation process. And in a couple of weeks, I will also announce that I'm having, so I'm doing it right now, I'm having a manifestation retreat in June. A 1-week retreat where we are going to like really dive into the manifestation process, and you get really actionable tools to know how to do this, and you also get the information who you are on soul level, how you manifest, you know, most efficiently, and where we also go in and dive in and give you the tools to actually work on all those things that are popping up and giving you resistance and giving you problems and giving you drama. So it's a journey home to yourself, to your truth, and to really learn how to create consciously. So I'm really excited about this week.
Yeah, I can understand. All the best with that. And thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. It was really interesting, and you're doing amazing work. So thank you so much, Cecilia, for being here today, and all the best.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great talk, I think.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and remember to shine the light that you are. Bye-bye.